Everybody, and welcome to John Talks Indian Cinema. I am your host, the Indian Cine-MANIAC, back with another 10ish minute review. Okay, special thanks out there to everybody. I'm getting closer to that 1,500 subscriber magic number, and then who knows? First 1,500, then the world. I have no idea. But to help me get there, subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the like button. And if you like this video, please share it with others who have a love for Indian cinema, a fellow maniac. Okay, so this was, as you guys know, those of you who continue to support the channel, I've been watching a lot of heavy, dark films. And one of you loyal maniacs out there wanted to lighten it up. Oh, let me get that neon up there. Okay. Wanted me to watch something lighter that he thought I might like a change of pace. So this was recommended by Sadat Gambir 2, who is one of the most loyal recommenders, including trailers too. But the film that he said to watch, now, you know how this goes. The film is Baadshah, and it's from 1999. Now, you all know how I feel about 90s Bollywood Hindi cinema. Not a big fan of it. Sadat, you know that too, by the way. But I'm going to do it anyway. But I do have to put the disclaimer out there because you know how I feel about it, okay? The film was directed by Abbas and Mustan Alibai Burmawala. And they directed Race, which I saw. The cast stars Shah Rukh Khan, SRK, who I'm not even going to list how many movies I've seen with him. I've seen a lot. I think his best performance was Swades that I've seen. Although he was good at the end of Biloo, too. I liked him there. Twinkle Khanna, who I don't think I've seen in anything. Amrish Puri, who I've seen in a lot. Anytime you need a bad guy with bug eyes, you call him. Ghatak, Lethal, Ghandi, and the Temple of Doom. Johnny Lever, Deepshika Nagpal, good-looking woman, by the way, and Prem Chopra in a small role. Now, this film is where Shah Rukh Khan got his nickname, the King of Hindi Film and King Khan. Because apparently that's what Baadshah means, king, right? Now, the thing that I was very surprised about is by how many films this, I don't want to say stole from, paid homage to. Rush Hour, Mr. Nice Guy, both with Jackie Chan. If Looks Could Kill with Richard Greco, and The Mask starring Jim Carrey, amongst others. And the whole second half of the movie is really inspired by two films. One is Nick of Time with Johnny Depp from 95, and the other is a Telugu film, Pape Na Pranam from 1998. Okay. The story. The story is about Shah Rukh Khan's character, Baadshah, Raj, who is a private eye, and a decent private eye, but can't make any money. But then gets brought into a case as I think a CBI agent, by a case of mistaken identity. And he's trying to foil a plot to kill the chief minister of Goa. I believe that's what it was, Bachchan. And how he's going to do that. And in the second half of the movie, which is exactly like Nick of Time, he gets roped into him doing the assassination, which doesn't end up happening. But and the story is, now it's a very funny story. It's a very it's rather silly. I have to say that. Like the car he drives is like all kinds of painting on the outside of it. Um, and his office has got all these gadgets and trap doors. And he's got a crew that works for him. Like I think it was four guys who are part of his PI firm that go with him on cases, and they were like the Three Stooges behind him. But there's scenes in there like the opening scene. He you don't know who he is yet, right? But he walks into a casino and they frame him right in front of the King of Hearts. Isn't that clever and subtle? And then he sits down and plays poker. I think it's three card poker, and they do a scene. In fact, this is another movie they borrowed from a scene from Maverick with that Richard Donner directed with Mel Gibson, where they're playing poker and he throws the winning card, he flips it and it spins and lands. He did that, and then there was a big fight scene, and the action scenes were actually pretty good. In fact, I don't think I've seen him as acrobatic in a film as he was in this one. I mean, he was young, 99, right? Um, so that was funny. He's afraid of dogs. That comes out. Um, let's see. Oh, now they do this scene. He meets Seema, whose father wants her to marry his son, or so they tell you. So he hires Raj to get her to marry this other guy. So he meets her by playing blind. And that whole scene was just kind of, he's crossing his eyes, but at one point she changes and he's like, he's got a teacup and it's shaking because he can see her, but he's got to pretend like he can't. So then he pretends to have eye surgery to get his eyesight back. And he uses his own office as the eye doctor's office. They switch everything around and make it look like an eye doctor office. And he has this miraculous surgery that now he can now see. And then he breaks her heart, so she'll end up with the other guy. Well, he finds out that they're only trying to do this for nefarious reasons, which you find out later on in the film. So, that was kind of a weird scene. Kind of, you couldn't, I don't think you could do that today, to be honest with you. Uh, oh, and the operation is called To Save Her, Operation Ma. That's what they keep saying. And one of the bad guys has one eyebrow. Modi was his name. You know what's funny about this movie? Like some people get killed pretty horribly in a funny movie. Um, so that was kind of interesting. There's a big action scene in the garage with car antennas, a sword fight. So then there's a scene where she breaks it. They're looking for a floppy disk. Now remember, in '99, so the floppy disk was this big, and the female assassin Ronnie, who's a hot looking mama, she's searching his room for this disc, right? She leaves the room. All of a sudden, this trap door opens up, and it's Raj, and he talks right to the camera, breaking the fourth wall. Again, kind of interesting. And then they do this one scene where they're being chased, and there's all kinds of doors, and doors are opening. And I guess I read that that's from another Hindi film, an earlier film, um, and that goes on for a while too. And then the last scene is a big action scene um, in this scaffolding, and he goes down a big banner. Um, so the story, it was all right. I mean, it was kind of funny. I gave the story a three. The performances for the type of film that it was, and to me, as I'm watching the film, it's like it's kind of made for the whole audience, right? Like kids. Even though there's some a little bit of adult stuff in it, it's really made for kids. Like I felt that way about Ra 1 too. This movie's made for kids. The humor is juvenile, to please that type of audience. So in that regard, I thought the performances were fine. I mean, I've never quite seen him like this. Uh kind of, not that he's not, I mean, it's not like he doesn't play over the top, because he does, but not quite as silly. And that's the only word I can think of. Okay, so forgive me. Um, as silly as this, but it was almost kind of charming because it was so different from anything that I've seen him in. And I thought everyone else was fine. And I thought the crew that he had working for him was a little too slapsticky. But again, that's 90s cinema, so I kind of chalked that up. But I would say I would give the performances, I give the performances a three. It was okay. Now the music, and there was a lot of music in this, and I mapped these out now. So okay, so the first song, when you first meet him and his crews after they leave the casino, there's this big number on the street, and it's kind of a rap number, but it was. If you ever seen The Mask with Jim Carrey, they do this thing with the cops, and the song is called Cuban Pete, and the cops start doing the number. That's what happens in this number. So it looked like it was borrowed from The Mask, but it actually was kind of a cool number, a great way to introduce SRK's character. The second musical number, he is in this scene where he's in a band where they introduce Seema, and he gets to dance with a bunch of girls, and then at one point he actually starts flirting with Seema. Okay, so he's playing on the stage, and then he's bouncing all over the place. That was kind of interesting. The third song is after he gets his new eyes. He can now see, and they're out in the mountain. And then and this was an interesting one because they changed the location and they changed the costumes. Like they were both in red and black amongst statues. Then there was an elevator. They were in an elevator together. So the scene changed and the costume changed. Now, the only issue I had was there was no subtitles for the songs. So I couldn't tell you what the songs were. You guys tell me how some of the songs are deep and they've got deep meaning. Well, I don't know what the meaning was. I don't think there was deep meaning in a lot of the music in this movie. Fourth song, he tells her he loves her. And to show how much he loves her, he gets a harmonica and starts playing a harmonica up on the roof. And I don't think anything says love like playing a harmonica. And the fifth song is at the club, which is the Baadshah theme song. He comes down from the ceiling wearing a sci-fi outfit, and there's all kinds of ladies in pink and guys behind him dancing. And that was a big number, but that was the Baadshah theme. So the music was fine. I mean, I actually, some of the numbers were very kitschy and very 90s. So I give it a 3. Overall, I mean, you know what? Siddharth, right? Siddharth. I'm going to say this because it was so much lighter than a lot of the films I've watched recently. And it did make me smile, even though some of it was cringy smile. I did smile because, again, like I said, I've never seen SRK quite like this. So that was kind of interesting to see, not the start, but I mean, this is where he got King Khan. So it kind of was the start, but it was still interesting, I thought. So I'm actually going to give the movie an overall 4. If I accept it for what it was and what audience it was made for, I think it accomplished what it needed to accomplish. So thank you for giving me a little lighter tone movie because I was getting pretty depressed with some of the movies I've been watching. Okay. So thank you for that. Let me know what you guys think about this film in the comment section. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Okay. Okay. Now my recommendation. Okay, sticking with the spy theme and comedy, I'm going to recommend a movie that was actually a bomb, but is a very funny film from the makers of the film Airplane. And it's 1984's Top Secret. It was directed by Jim Abrams and David and Jerry Zucker, who created Airplane. And it stars the late Val Kilmer, a very young Val Kilmer, Omar Sharif, and Lucy Gutteridge, amongst others. It's a very funny mashup of Elvis movies and spy movies and World War II movies. And the other thing about these films like Airplane. You have to pay attention to the entire film because there's always something happening in it. Always. And you have to pay it. There's a gag a minute in these films. So you really have to pay attention. And people don't like that in a comedy. They just want to laugh. Well, I just love that. And I also loved it because Val Kilmer did his own singing in this. And he's actually got a really good voice. And he does the one scene where all the Germans, all the not, oh, I can't say that on YouTube, all the bad German guys from the 1930s are sitting in this restaurant, and an opera singer is supposed to get up there and sing, and he thinks it's him, Nick Rivers. So he goes up there and ends up doing Tutti Frutti in front of the audience, and all the audience of all these old Germans start going crazy, and he's on the piano and he's dancing all over the place, and it's just great. It's just a great number. Very, very funny movie. Peter Cushing makes a cameo in it. It's just a fun, funny movie. If you want to laugh and you've never seen it, I couldn't. And by the way, I would check out Airplane too. That's another one. A laugh a minute. But Top Secret is the film. Check it out if you get a chance. I think you're really going to like it. Okay. All right. That's it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. We'll talk to you soon on John Talks Indian Cinema with either a 10ish-minute review or a 10ish-minute trailer reaction. Thank you for watching, everybody.